Imagine for a moment, you just finished drawing a character and you think, not bad. Satisfied, you close your document and jump onto another task. One day later, you reopen your creation and oh my god, it looks oh so bad. Your painting hasn't changed, but your vision did. All artists know that problem. All creators know that problem. It is hard to keep a fresh look on your work. That's why we're going to take a look at 5 techniques that will help us to take a step back on our graphic creations. Trick number 1. Keeping track of the big picture. The first thing we should always do when we paint is to keep a global view on our document for as long as we can. It is quite important not to get caught up zooming in and out all the time. Zooming in makes us waste time on insignificant details and lose track of the big picture. Once we got past the blocking phase with our graphics, we can duplicate our canvas. This permits us to both preserve a global view and to zoom in on the active canvas. We just have to dart on our document's copy from time to time to ensure that the painting looks good overall. Duplicating the viewport is even more interesting if you have 2 screens. Each screen has its own calibration and rendering for colors. Having a copy of your document on 2 different devices gives you the ability to better estimate the look of your art on other configurations. Trick number 2. Visualizing silhouettes. If the silhouette of an object or a character is hard to read, its lit version will be hard to read as well. Visualizing only the silhouette of a character temporarily takes out the elements of color and light from a painting. That way, we are forced to focus on our asset's form and global proportions. Moreover, as a game artist, we ensure that the alpha mask of our asset stays clean. In Photoshop, we can show the silhouette of our layers very easily. For that, we use the color overlay layer effect. You can choose any color, but I like to pick a shade of gray. Then we can activate or deactivate the effect at any time while working. For a more occasional solution, and one that is available in most image editing software, there is the hue saturation tool. You just have to put the lightness or brightness slider down to the minimum for your silhouette to appear. Trick number 3. Symmetry. This is the one technique to instantly refresh your eyes while working. Once they are shown in symmetry, the visual defects we got used to become visible again. Traditional artists themselves often use a mirror to change their perspective on a painting and see its defects. Speaking of defects, symmetry is not very convenient in Photoshop. You have to use the transformation tool to apply it, and the calculations can take a while on big documents. To obtain a mirrored version of your document, select all of your layers and press Ctrl-T to transform them. Then you only have to right-click on the transform zone and to select horizontal symmetry. You can directly assign symmetry to a shortcut in Photoshop. You have to go to the Edit menu, then select Keyboard Shortcuts at the bottom of the list. Horizontal symmetry can be found under the Edit menu and the Transform submenu. Other software like Krita possess a dedicated and much more efficient tool. You just have to press the M key to instantly mirror your document. Pretty cool. Trick number 4. Using the black and white adjustment layer to check your values. Colors are treacherous. Sometimes their associations seem to work well, although the corresponding value composition lack contrast. A poor value composition breaks the readability of an image and limits its appeal. To solve this issue, we are going to use an adjustment layer called black and white. We just have to put it at the top of our layer stack to visualize it in grayscale. I recommend to always add that layer before you colorize an illustration or a sprite. It is important to always keep an eye on your values. Trick number 5. Changing the background color. In a video game, the background changes behind the character, be it because the player moves or because the background itself is animated. Thus, it's important to build our assets in such a way that they work in multiple kinds of environments. In Photoshop, I often use a solid color layer to that end. You can find it at the top of the list of adjustment layers, just next to the gradient option. The advantage of this tool is that it fills the whole document, even if we crop it or enlarge it. By double-clicking on the layer's thumbnail, you can edit its color using the regular color picker. Otherwise, it's always interesting to reuse existing background from the game on your own work-in-progress graphics. In this little project, the Lumberjack, the background is always the same. It is snowy and blue. All of the gameplay elements have to contrast with the snow in the background. To work with that, all gameplay assets have shades of purple, pink or red, even yellow at times. Those are more or less all complementary to blue. That's it for this video. Are there other tips or tricks you'd like to share with everyone? Or maybe you have a suggestion for a future tutorial? Don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. As always, don't hesitate to become a subscriber either. That way you will be notified whenever I release a new tutorial. Thank you kindly for watching. Be creative, have fun. Until next time.